Hi guys, good morning. Yesterday we talked about opening direction on a graph. Today we're going to talk about the axis of symmetry. So we're going to work on filling in the notes in this box. And I put that on my whiteboard. So when I look at my whiteboard, I'm going to talk about finding the axis of symmetry on a graph. So if I had a graph, in order to find the axis of symmetry of a quadratic function, I would have this U-shaped parabola in my graph. And I would know that this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. And I would want to find where the center of this graph is. So I could take my pencil or I could look at it. I could kind of get an idea where the center would be. And I think the center looks like it's about right here. And I mark the axis of symmetry by putting in a dotted line. And I'm looking at for where it crosses my x-axis. So here I have some notes. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. And I know how to count on a graph already. I've learned that skill. So I'm going to do x equals 2 because I'm over at x equals 1, 2. And that kind of cuts my graph in half. And that's how you find the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is the point where you could take a graph and you could take it and you could fold it up, kind of like butterfly wings. Or your face, if you were to fold your face up, your eyes would meet, the sides of your lips would meet, your eyebrows would meet, just like a butterfly when you fold its wings up. So if I were to take this graph and I were to fold it up, this line would be the point where I could fold it and it will be the same on either side. Sometimes we don't have a graph. We have our function, and we learned this y equals ax squared plus by plus bx, plus c. And we've gone over this a couple times. We've factored it. We've learned about this formula. And now we're going to talk about how to find the AOS, or the axis of symmetry. So in order to do that, we use the formula negative b over 2a. So you would take whatever number is here at b, and you would say negative b divided by 2 times whatever number is here in your formula. And that's how you would find the axis of symmetry when you don't have a graph. It's also, make sure you recognize that it's x equal. Your axis of symmetry should always be written as x equals and a number. So if we were to go over an example with actual numbers in it, I'm going to show you if we were to do y equals negative 3x squared plus 6x minus 10. So when I look at this, I'm going to say negative b over 2a. And I know this is the spot of a, this is the spot of b, and this is the spot of c. I just replaced them with numbers. So negative b would be 6. So I'm going to write negative 6. If it were a negative 6, I would write negative 6. And we know two negatives would become a positive. But in this case, it's a positive 6. So I'm just going to write the negative sign for my formula, and then I'm going to put the 6 in. Divided by 2 times whatever I have for a. Negative 3 is my a. So I'm going to have negative 6 on the top, and 2 times negative 3 is going to be negative 6. And when I divide negative 6 divided by negative 6, I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And 6 divided by 6 is 1. So my answer is going to be 1. Okay, if you need to use a calculator to do the division and the multiplication, do that. But you must do the multiplication first and then the division, or you will not get the right answer. Okay, so make sure you're typing in a calculator correctly. And our final answer for this example would be x equals 1. Okay, for homework, you have underneath, after you fill in the axis of symmetry graph right here, underneath, you're going to come down and answer questions 1 through 5. Okay, so you're going to pick out the axis of symmetry by looking at the graph, and then you're going to do it mathematically. Please make sure you show your work. Write the formula, negative a over 2b, write out the problem. Negative a over 2b, write out the problem. Same thing here. Your final answer should be written as x equals, oh, I tried to write on my screen, that didn't work. X equals, and then a number. Make sure you have that in your final answer. If you have questions, let me know. Make sure you take and send me a set of notes that looks like this board here. And make sure you answer those 5 questions as well. I hope you guys are having a good Friday. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions, and feel free to watch the video as many times as you need.